Handoff Adrian up the middle, room to the 20, cuts to the left to the 25, and Adrian's loose! He splits the defense! 50, 40, 30, goodbye, baby! Touchdown!
We bleed purple, and our bones are gold. Hear the horns coming out of our dome, behold. We are Minnesota Vikings fans.
Hey there, Minnesota Vikings sports fans. You are listening to the Purple People podcast. My name is Kyle West. I am accompanied by the man from parts unknown. His name is Adam Carlson.
That's me. Let me take off my mask here, and I will welcome you to episode number 86 of the Purple People podcast. This is like our sixth time trying to record this episode, so I decided to change up the title. And this time it's The Adventures of Pete and Peterson.
I like that. You threw me a curveball. And that's
Gotta change it up every once in a while. Let's go right into the quick hits because we got a roster breakdown to do here after this, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. We're going to get to it this time.
I hope so. The Vikings have added defensive lineman Keyston Randall on a future free agent / reserve deal. Mm-hmm. Always good to bring in guys with talent that some of the coaching staff are familiar with, so that's definitely a plus.
Yeah, welcome to the roster. I like seeing them working defensive tackle. So always a good spot that you want to have lots of competition up in Mankato. So it'll be fun to see how that spot position shakes out for the Vikings this season.
Absolutely, especially with rumor already that LaTroy Guion might be shown the door.
Ooh.
But, okay, let's talk about the Pro Bowl, because, you know, everybody was talking about the Pro Bowl. The world was on fire about the Pro Bowl.
It was.
Right?
Not really.
Well, Cordero Patterson was part of it, and we got to see him light it up on the field. 2 punt returns, no yards, exciting.
Bill Musgrave wholeheartedly approved of the production that number 84 had during the Pro Bowl, although I'm fine with it. I know, who cares?
No, keep him healthy. Don't make him... Well, he was doing something, too, that he hasn't done all year.
He doesn't feel...
I think he was the only player in the Pro Bowl...
Playing out of position.
Well, other than when Cam Newton was playing wide receiver, but...
Yeah.
Patterson was exclusively a punt returner, which I guess he did some in college.
Yeah, I don't want to read too much into the Pro Bowl and how he played, but judging from the couple snaps that he got, he does not look all too natural at fielding punts. So let's keep him on kickoffs and turn him into a stud on offense.
Now, the new coaching staffs haven't been formally announced, but we've got some word on some of the guys that were hired. And one of them will be new running backs coach Kirby Wilson from the Steelers.
Mm-hmm. I am excited that Minnesota is finally, it seems like we are attracting name coaches. Good coaches from other teams are finally coming to Minnesota, and we're not just scraping bottom-of-the-barrel guys like Bill Musgrave or reaching for someone like Brad Childress. I really feel like we're finally getting good talent on the staff side of things.
Absolutely, and in addition to that, they have a new defensive backs coach in Jerry Gray. Now, Jerry Gray is not only a former defensive backs coach, but he's a former defensive coordinator. The guy has a ton of experience, 51 years old, and he's been around the league. He's seen a lot of it, and the Vikings have a lot of young players in the secondary that could benefit from his experience.
We are going to, in a few short seasons, we're going to have a top defense in the NFL. I firmly believe it.
Yeah, definitely. Yesterday, because this is Tuesday now instead of Monday, so I got to amend that in my notes here. Minnesota formally announced its bid to host a Super Bowl in 2018. Now, there are 2 other candidates for it, and that's Indianapolis and New Orleans. But I got my fingers crossed, and I'm hopeful that the Vikings will have home field advantage for the 2018 Super Bowl.
I'm pretty confident that the NFL will give the bid to Minnesota. I think...
I'm pretty sure that was part of the deal.
Yeah, I was going to say that was probably part of the deal for getting, the stadium done, whatever. Besides... What were the other 2 you said? New Orleans and
Indianapolis.
And they've both hosted Super Bowls here recently. So this big fancy new stadium that the state of Minnesota is building, there's going to be none like it in the NFL. So of course they're going to want to bring the Super Bowl here. It's a natural fit.
Well, we'll have to see and wait how the cold weather goes down for this year's Super Bowl. See if it detracts a lot of the excitement, a lot of the activity around the stadium, because it could bring in a lot of money for the city, the state, the surrounding areas. Could be a very good thing. And my final note, not really Vikings news, possible potential Vikings news, but Gil Brandt says that Johnny Manziel is, and I quote, a better version of Fran Tarkenton.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty high honor. Fran's in the Hall of Fame, and to say that a guy who has yet to play a single snap in the NFL is better than Fran. I
don't know. I kind of took offense to it when I read it. But, hey, I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. And if he sees something that he absolutely loves, I'm glad he's calling it out. Because the world is too negative today. Why not be positive?
I think...
Don't be a Negatron. Be an Optimist Prime.
Negatron. You can make it... If Russell Wilson is able to win the Super Bowl, beat Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos, I think you could maybe make a case because you can already make a strong case for him and Fran.
LOB. Don't come at me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree.
But you can already make a pretty strong case for Russell Wilson and Fran Tarkenton. If he could win it over top of Denver, I could see that. But Manziel, he's got to prove himself first.
People have to taper their expectations a little bit. All right, let's go into the roster breakdown. This is the part that we have not gotten to on any of our attempts.
No, we haven't. I'm excited to finally get here.
I know, isn't it great? And let's talk about quarterbacks right away, because everybody loves quarterbacks.
Okay. Who is going to be...
Now, there's only one quarterback that has the best chance of coming back to the Vikings, and that's Christian Ponder. Now, Christian Ponder is under contract, but there are rumors that they are trying to ship him out and somehow coax Matt Castle into staying for another year, because Matt Castle can void his contract after this year, or the team can choose not to pick it up. But either way, one of those two guys will probably be back.
Ship him out or shit him out, Adam. Because I have a feeling that a lot of Vikings fans would rather rephrase that and say that the state of Minnesota is just going to shit Christian Ponder out the back door. I believe that they're going to try...
Out the back door. Come on.
Come on, it was funny, you know it was. They're going to try to pick up that second option for Matt Castle, maybe even convince him on a 2 or 3 year deal. Would they try to do something like that? I could see them doing so just based on how thin the free agent roster is at quarterbacks right now. The chances of Josh Freeman coming back, I put them at slim, next to none on seeing him back in Minnesota.
I've got the chances of him coming back at negative 10%.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Mathematician. You're going negative?
Negative 10%.
Negative 10%.
That's right. Not only are they not bringing him back, but they're going to recommend nobody else brings him back.
Someone, the Raiders or someone will give him a shot. But
did you see the Browns are going to hire the quarterbacks coach for the Raiders to be their new offensive coordinator?
I didn't. Really?
Oh my goodness.
Wow. What is the... Can we just do an entire podcast just make fun of the Browns?
What are the Browns doing?
I don't know. At least the Jaguars. At least, those guys are, going in a direction, and it's generally upwards, or so it would...
They're trying.
Or so it would seem. They're trying. The Browns just seem destined to...
And they've got draft picks this year. Maybe they'll get something figured out. But let's get back to our roster breakdown. Do you want to handle running backs?
Sure. We know who's going to be back. Adrian Peterson. We know what he's going to bring to the table. He will be the MVP on offense for this team, just like always.
And don't worry about his off-season surgery. He'll come back fine and better than ever.
And I believe that he'll bounce back from his kind of off-season that he had this year. He'll be healthy. He'll be used probably more correctly in the new offensive scheme that Norv Turner is going to bring in. So much faith for Adrian Peterson. Toby Gerhart. What do you think about him, Adam? You think he'll be back with the team?
He's a free agent. I think that we are going to see him sign a deal with another team. I've already heard rumors out there that teams are looking at him to be a feature or a lead committee back. So it's looking very grim for Toby Gerhart fans.
It's sad to see Toby go, but at the same time, he's a player that I'm actually excited to see get a shot on another team. I wish there was a way for the Vikings to hold on to him, and I know that maybe Adrian wouldn't like it so much, but I really feel like if you actually did a legitimate two-back set with Adrian and Toby, that they could complement each other really nicely. You could get some good production out of both of them on the field, but I do think that he is going to test the waters, and he wants to play. He wants to play.
Now, I don't want to poop right on Bill Musgrave on this.
Well, go right ahead.
But having Norv Turner come in and operate this offense, because he's always had success with passing offenses. And whenever you have success with a passing offense, it draws defenders out of the box. And when you draw defenders out of the box, that's more success for your running back. So look for bigger seasons from Adrian Peterson. And the only other Minnesota Vikings running back guaranteed to return, Joe Banyard.
The
only other one that we didn't talk about was our running back / fullback hybrid, Matt Asiata, who is an exclusive rights free agent.
And
so hopefully the Vikings will be able to work something out with him.
He's one of those guys that I don't really think the new coaching staff is going to go out of their way to get him back on the roster. Of course, you know who I have to mention. He's on the practice squad right now, Adam.
I do.
Bradley Randall. He's a guy that I loved watching him in training camp and just seeing what he could do. He got bounced around. He was on the practice squad, not on the practice squad. He's signed back to it, so he's going to get another shot to impress a new coaching staff, impress Norv Turner, and see if he can solidify himself a spot. And this season, like we talked about, with Gerhart not being on the team, they're going to need to fill some spots underneath Adrian Peterson. And
Norv Turner has always liked that scat back guy. I mean, look at him with Sproles when he was in Philly, and he's always had those little guys that come in.
If Bradley Randall can prove his worth in catching the ball, he will make a spot on this roster.
And pass blocking. Don't forget that.
Exactly. He's a small guy, but I've seen him. He's thrown some nice blocks to
he's pretty vicious.
Some guys that are a hell of a lot bigger than him. So I do, personally, I have high expectations for Bradley Randall.
Absolutely. And I even tweeted him, and I said that I would like to see him get that scat back job.
Yeah, me too.
Which is weird saying scat back, because to me scat's poop. I don't know. Awful lot of poop talk today, but let's move on. And let's talk about our fullback, Jerome Felton, who will be back. Is an excellent part of this team, former Pro Bowler. The guy is solid as can be, and you can't ask for much more from him.
Yeah, and he won't have the suspension. He had the suspension early on last season. Sounds weird. Sounds weird to be saying last season already. I still want to make reference to it as being the season, but
I still say this season.
I think
I'm not there yet.
Last season, Adam, new coaching staff, new everything. So
I know I got to be looking forward instead of behind.
But anyway, I'm sure he'll return back to his Pro Bowl form. We'll get to see a lot of the guys who seemed like there was a drop-off in production. New coaches, Mike Zimmer is going to light a fire under these guys. You're going to see Norv Turner is going to lay up some actual schemes and game plans for him on offense. And so it'll be fun to see how he gets used. Maybe he will get a actual handoff every now and then. Maybe that could be a new wrinkle to the Minnesota Vikings. 2014. You never know.
The Chargers used to do that all the time. Jacob Hester would get a handoff and plow forward for 3-4 yards once in a while, and nobody would see it coming.
It sounds crazy, but Adrian's getting up there in age a little bit, and so why not? Like, you start looking at some of these things and go, why not take a little bit of the load off from Adrian? And he's always going to have that ability to crack the big one, but why not some of the short yardage stuff? Like, take a little bit of the load off from him. Let some other guys work that in there.
Let's move into the wide receivers and talk a little bit about some of these guys that, like you said, may not have completely met their expectations, and that's Greg Jennings right off the bat. Now, I'm not putting any fault on Greg Jennings for his less than stellar year because of the inconsistencies at quarterback, and that's the polite way of saying it.
Mm-hmm. That didn't help. That didn't help any of our receivers. Also, I place a lot of the blame on Bill Musgrave. It's just...
Poor guy. We're ripping on him pretty hardcore tonight.
Oh, who cares? He's not going to listen to this.
He's going to listen to this and cry in his soda.
Didn't he get hired by Philadelphia?
He did.
What did he get hired for?
Right away.
Quarterbacks coach?
Yep, quarterbacks coach in Philly.
I almost wonder if he was just... some guys are good at certain, coordinator spots, like quarterbacks, whatever.
Isn't Childress over there, too?
Childress is with Andy Reid in...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Kansas City.
That's where my head went to Andy Reid, and then I went to Philly.
Yeah,
okay.
He's like their spread analysis coach.
Right.
Whatever that means. Basically, it means he was the friend of Andy Reid, and he wanted to make him employed somewhere.
He needed a job.
Anyway, back to our receivers. Greg Jennings, I think, will have more of a season like what we would expect from him, just assuming we're going to have some kind of stability at the quarterback position.
And who do you think is going to start on the other side of Greg Jennings?
Cordero Patterson. I mean, come on.
They're not going to wait half a season to put him in?
Fuck no. Guys like Joe Webb. Okay, before we get to Joe Webb, let's talk about Jerome Simpson. You think Jerome's going to be back?
Jerome Simpson's going to have trouble finding a job this season because of all the legal problems he's had. Repeat just mental mistakes off the field. And I like him. He's got a lot of talent. Really nice guy from every interaction I've ever had with him. But those problems are going to keep him from finding a decent job. And
in a strange sort of way, that kind of benefits Minnesota. Because I want to see Jerome back. I liked what he showed on the field from the Vikings last season. Yeah, there were stretches where he didn't do what we thought, but overall, it's okay, he's a good number 3 receiver on this team. If you can get Jennings and Patterson going as your 1 and 2, Jerome is a good supplemental number 3 guy to bring in on this roster.
I think so.
So maybe the off the field stuff will finally click for him, and he can get that going, get it shaped up.
And we can't forget about Jarius Wright either.
Yeah, Jarius is another guy that he should benefit greatly from having North Turner figuring out how to use him on the field, because he's a guy that I think can be used in a lot more kind of gadget plays. You line him up a bit like Percy Harvin, and I want to see more of that from Jarius. And
now I think we're only going to see one of these last 2 guys back, and I know who I want it to be. One of them is Joe Webb, who is a free agent. I'm not sure how the evaluation on him is going to go, because the new coaching staff will have new minds and new opinions. Mm-hmm. But the guy I want to see brought in and given a bigger role is Rodney Smith. You all know I'm a big fan of Rodney Smith. I love his size. I love his ability. The guy just needs a little time to adjust, and I think he'll flourish in a new offense. Yeah, I'm right with you with Rodney Smith. I want to see him for sure in Mankato, see what he can do in training camp preseason. Be watching him closely. Joe Webb, here's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. He's a guy. I like Joe Webb. Man, you watch him, I understand why everyone on the team loves him when you watch the behind-the-scene videos. He's always big smile on his face, pumping people up. Yeah, he's always clowning. But just waste of a roster spot. Guys that we should be paying attention to on the practice squad. Adam Thielen, don't count him out. He could be a guy that could be fighting for a roster spot. Will be fighting for a roster spot. And then
Greg Childs is the wild card in all of this because who knows where he's going to be at rehab wise.
We have no way of
you
knowing.
gotta believe that this is his shot finally when he makes
The coaching staff will give him every opportunity.
when he makes it to training camp. Like he's going to be healthy as he's going to get, I would imagine, and let's see what he can do because I would really love to see Greg turn into the player that he was in college. That would be such a huge benefit for the Vikings.
Now, one of the spots that we're going to see some interesting things going on is tight end this year. Kyle Rudolph should explode under this Norv Turner system. Norv Turner loves making the best use possible out of his tight ends. And to be honest, Kyle Rudolph, when having a quarterback that can throw him the ball, could be one of the top tight ends in the league.
Oh, he will be without doubt. I don't doubt that one bit. Stay healthy, actual offense, stability at quarterback. That's kind of the theme that we're getting at here with our skill position guys. That's you can't underestimate the importance of that enough. I think John Carlson,
may retire because of concussions.
Wise, like I wonder if he can stay healthy, if he even should continue to play football.
Well, I hope he sits down with his family, like I said, and has a great talk about it. Figures out what's best for him and his family because he shouldn't risk his health or his future for a game of football when he can retire and live his life out and be happy.
Precisely.
Don't risk it.
But on the plus side is that we've got someone like Red Ellison.
And don't forget Chase Ford. Both of those guys will be back.
And I would expect...
Chase Ford really impressed me this season.
Yeah, me too. He was a guy that... who's Chase Ford? Like, he's just not a name that really stands out that much. And,
right.
Yeah, he did. He had a couple nice plays. I believe he caught a touchdown at one point in the season.
Carried Adrian Peterson into the end zone.
Oh,
once.
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one. Tight end is an area that I believe that Rick Spielman and the new staff, maybe they draft a tight end and they look at free agency, but there'll be, like we said, we know who our number one is. We know we've got, Red Ellison, a few guys underneath it, and I think that'll be an area they'll look to supplement a little bit.
Yeah, Rhett's an awesome blocker, run block, pass block. That's his specialty, and he can catch balls out of the backfield too, so all in all, things are still looking okay at the tight end position, even if John Carlson decides to move on. And then we got some scary positions, the offensive line here. This isn't being talked about enough because there are a lot of guys here that really could leave a big hole. Even though there's only one starter that isn't likely to come back. Offensive tackle, let's start there.
Okay.
Let's talk about Matt Khalil, Phil Lodehold. They'll be back. They're both solid. Nothing to worry about there.
Phil's under contract. We've talked about Phil quite a bit in the past. You guys know what I think about him. I like Phil. I think a lot of the times he gets flagged, maybe unnecessarily, just because of the fact that he's such a big guy that he stands out. Matt Khalil, bit of an enigma in his second season. The dreaded sophomore slump seemed like it kind of hit him a bit. He'll bounce back. You got to believe that he'll be more...
He played through a lot of the year with injury and illness, so hopefully he'll be back strong and healthy.
Boy, it was just an odd season overall for this team. So you got to believe that Matt Khalil's going to be back to more to his Pro Bowl form, like what we see in his rookie season. I'm not concerned about Phil or Khalil out there for the team.
The only other offensive tackle set to return this year is Mike Remmers.
Well, there's a name we don't hear too often.
Because Jamarcus Webb and Levi Horn are both free agents, so the Vikings will have to search out something for that swing tackle
draft
position.
They'll be looking to the draft for that one. As well as free agency, which is kind of the no shit answer to that one. But
and then you got guard, which is another position that things aren't looking that great at. Because you got Fusco coming back. And Fusco did play better this season. He improved a lot over this year. And you got Jeff Baca, who was drafted last year, who I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him get more of an actual shot.
And you got Charlie Johnson going to free agency.
Yeah, Charles Johnson. I don't expect him to be back with this team. Do you?
I don't see it happening unless it's a huge pay cut.
Yeah, but you never know. Stranger things have happened, and
Because he was getting left tackle money to play left guard.
Mhm.
Not cool, dude.
From
Not
what I've
cool.
read about Mike Zimmer is that he's supposedly one of these coaches who's able to take a player like Charlie Johnson and get the absolute most out of him. So maybe they can
Good.
maybe they can convince him to take a pay cut and come back, and Zimmer can work his magic, and maybe he'll be maybe he'll be our backup. You know,
He'll go up to Charlie Johnson and he'll say, "Hey, it's got to be hard for you to block people while you're laying on the ground. You might want to try standing up."
and he'll go, "Well, I never thought of that. You know, no one told me that last season on the team."
And last position on offense is the center. Now, John Sullivan, he'll be back. Solid standard. Sully's one of those guys, you don't have to worry about him because he always plays at a high level.
Totally.
Now, his backup, to me, is an important part of this team because of his versatility, his ability to play so many positions, his toughness, and, of course, the fact that he went to a college near where I live, Joe Berger. I think Berger is a more important part of this team than people think, and the Vikings will want to sign him back. Anytime you got a guy that can step in and play guard or center and play either one at a medium to medium high level at the rate of money that he was getting, it's a steal and it's a great bargain.
Could Joe Berger be a better guard than Charlie Johnson?
You're asking the wrong guy because I'm going to say absolutely.
I mean, that's a serious question right now.
I've never seen Berger laying on the ground, so
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Good competition at the guard spot.
yeah, he can play any of those spots on the guard or on the center. Don't know if I'd want to play in tackle, but why not, right? Throw him out there. He can be our swing tackle too. Do it, Berger.
I'm a big fan of
No, I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding.
maybe tight end.
Don't send me mail about that
Tight
one.
end, a little bit.
But that's our offensive breakdown.
Joe Berger at fullback.
There you go. Do it, Berger.
Yeah.
One of my favorite pictures I've ever posted to the podcast page was that picture for Joe Berger's birthday where he just looks mad and I got all the streamers and stuff behind him.
I remember that one. That one was pretty funny.
Oh, that one just amuses me.
You know what I'm?
But that's all.
You know what I'm?
That's all I have for this week. What do you have?
Speaking of like offense, offensive players and whatnot, I'm bummed out that this team let Travis Bond get picked off the practice squad, and he ended up on Carolina because he was a guy that I was looking forward to seeing what Travis Bond could have brought to the table, and that's one of those moves that I question Rick Spielman on not having him on the active 53.
Well, they thought they could slide him under on the practice squad. Well, they groomed him to be a swing tackle.
And see, I don't.
And I guess other teams are just too noticing. They're like, we want him.
Yeah, see, I don't like that. I mean, you got a guy like, I'm sorry, Joe Webb, wasting a roster spot, completely worthless. I would rather cut Joe Webb, had Travis Bond on the 53 and just not even be active on game day, just to have him on the team so that he doesn't get picked and go to Carolina, like what ultimately happened with him. That one bugs me quite a bit that he got
I know you love
pushed
that
off the roster.
Travis Bond story about the car. So.
Well, I'm not just that. I mean, of course, I liked his personality, but I mean, the potential for him, I thought, was just through the roof. And
he was a monster of a man.
I know, and that is.
Well, he still is. He's just not in Minnesota.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe there's a way. Maybe Carolina puts him on the practice squad, and Minnesota's able to pooch him, get him back. Who knows? But
maybe.
I would love to see him back in Minnesota. And I'm kind of going into my rant that I had poised here at the end, so I'll just finish it off right now.
Okay.
A lot of people are talking about the moves that Rick Spielman's done that they don't agree with. And a lot of people point to someone like, oh, the drafting of Christian Ponder, Spielman messed up on that. And to me, I don't necessarily agree with that because they're trying to fill a position, and we've seen enough flashes from Ponder over the course to understand why they drafted him. My rant with Spielman is exactly what happened with Travis Bond, and I think he's got too much of a tendency to try to be too coy and too sly with players, trying to slide them on the practice squad, cut him, sign him back on the practice squad, like what we've seen with Audie Cole, where,
Right.
He's on the team, he gets cut so they can bring in some other guy that I don't even remember who it was, and then they cut that guy, and then they bring Audie Cole back, and it's like, I just get this feeling, it's like, quit. I know it's a bit of a chess game on how you move people in and out of your active roster and whatnot, but quit overthinking it, and just get people signed, get the dead weight off the roster, and get the correct guys in place, and quit doing all these little moves like that, or just really bother me to no end. And so I hope to see less of that from Spielman in 2014.
Well, we're going to see exactly what we saw last year. We're going to see Rick Spielman bring in all this talent at many positions for training camp, and we're going to see the coaching staff get it all figured out. And I think this coaching staff could be a much better evaluator of talent.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll see less of those kind of mistakes in the future.
Precisely. I mean, if you're going to draft someone, like, we gave a draft pick for Travis Bond and got absolutely nothing out of him. Like, I want to see the guys that we draft get value out of it. You know what I mean?
I understand totally. All right, and that's all we have for this week. So I'd like to thank everyone for listening. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'm your Facebook guy. Kyle will take care of you on Twitter. He'll show you around.
I will show you guys the ropes on Twitter.
That's right. Check out my writing on the Viking Age. I'd appreciate it greatly. And remember to stay classy, Minnesota.